I'm Emma. I live in a quiet neighborhood now, in a house that on the outside looks like a dream, but on the inside has become a test of everything I thought I knew about love, loyalty, and marriage. And this is my story. When I married my husband 2 years ago, I really believed we had what people mean when they say, it's us against the world. We weren't perfect, but we were partners. We laughed, we fought sometimes, but we always found our way back to each other. Or so I thought. We'd known each other for 5 years before we said our vows. That meant 5 years of inside jokes, road trips, late night talks, and making plans for the future. His smile used to light up my whole world. When I pictured my life, he was always there in it. Buying this house together was supposed to be one of the biggest milestones for us, proof of everything we'd worked for. Moving is stressful, but it's also exciting. I remember the day we first walked into this place. The hardwood floors gleamed under the sunlight, the kitchen smelled faintly of fresh paint, and I stood there imagining our future. I saw family dinners, laughter echoing down the hallway, and lazy Sunday mornings where the world outside didn't matter. For once, I felt like we had built something just for us. But as with many things in life, the cracks show up where you least expect them. We had some furniture from our old apartment that just didn't fit the new place. One piece in particular stood out, a large, almost new set that still looked beautiful but was just too big for our layout. My husband and I talked about it and agreed that the best option was to sell it. We'd spent good money on it. It still had a lot of value, and it felt practical to use the extra cash for all the little expenses that come with moving into a new home. It seemed like such a straightforward decision until his family got involved. His younger sister came over one afternoon to see the house. She's always been the type to assume things, to take liberties without really asking. She eyed the piece of furniture and said something along the lines of, "Oh, so you're just leaving this behind? Can I take it?" The way she said it didn't feel like a question. It felt like she was already picturing it in her living room. My husband, instead of giving a clear answer, mumbled something vague. She left with the impression it wasn't hers to take. But then word spread. His other sister, and eventually his mom, started pushing him. They guilt-tripped him. They hinted. They reminded him of all the things family does for each other. Suddenly, this wasn't just about a piece of furniture. It was about loyalty to them. I could see my husband's discomfort. He said to me privately that he didn't want to give it away. He said it was too expensive, too big of a gift, and honestly, not something we could just part with for free. I agreed. We were aligned. Or so I believed. So we listed it online. That decision felt like closing the matter. Until it all blew up. A couple of days later, his sister stumbled upon the listing. Of course she did. She screenshotted it and sent it straight to him. He told me about it casually, like it was no big deal, like we'd just have a laugh about it. But I didn't know then how much deeper that conversation went. The confrontation came unexpectedly. His mom cornered me, her voice sharp with judgment, her words more of a statement than a question. "You tried to sell the furniture?" I remember the way my stomach dropped. I stammered out the truth that we had posted it together, that it was a decision we made as a couple, but she just looked at me, raised her eyebrows, and dismissed me with one single word. "Uh-huh." That sound, it wasn't just a sound. It carried weight. It carried contempt. It carried the unspoken accusation that I was guilty, selfish, and not to be trusted. That night, I couldn't shake it. I asked my husband point blank, "Did you tell them it was me? Did you make it sound like I did this behind your back?" He looked me straight in the eye and said, "No." But my gut told me otherwise. I had never been the type to snoop, but the unease ate away at me. Eventually, I looked through his phone, and there it was. The conversation, the lie. He had told his sister that I posted it because I didn't know the situation. He had shifted the blame onto me, painting himself as innocent and me as the problem. I can't explain the kind of betrayal I felt in that moment. It wasn't just about a message. It was about realizing that the man I trusted most chose to throw me under the bus to keep the peace with his family. His sister's reply only made it worse. She said she knew exactly what was going on, smug and satisfied that I was the villain in their story. When I confronted him, I expected at least an apology, some recognition of how badly he had hurt me. Instead, he brushed it off. He said, "I want you to have it," as if giving the furniture to his sister would somehow erase everything. But it didn't erase the fact that in private, he had agreed with me, and in public, he chose them. And then came the sentence that keeps replaying in my head. My family already doesn't like you, so what's the difference? I can still hear his voice when he said it. Calm, dismissive, final. In that moment, something shifted in me. He was telling me, plain as day, that defending me didn't matter, that my reputation, my dignity, the way his family saw me, none of it was worth protecting, that if they already had their opinions of me, why bother trying to defend the truth? I tried to explain that I didn't want to be seen as the selfish wife, the money-hungry outsider who came between him and his family. I wanted him to understand how much it mattered to me. And he looked at me with frustration and accused me of being a narcissist because I cared about my reputation, because I didn't want to be the scapegoat. I went to bed that night with a pit in my stomach. I stared at the ceiling and thought about everything we'd been through, the love, the laughter, the promises we'd made to each other. And I wondered if it all was real or if I'd just been fooling myself. Since then, I've been carrying this heaviness. Every time I see his family, I can feel the weight of their judgment. Every time I look at him, I feel the sting of betrayal. I still love him. That's what makes this so much harder. I love the man I thought I married, the man who used to be my safe place. But how do you love someone who won't stand up for you? How do you trust someone who lies to make themselves look better at your expense? I don't know if this can be fixed. I don't know if a marriage can survive when one partner refuses to defend the other, when lies replace honesty, when family becomes more important than the person they vowed to love and protect. All I know is that I feel alone, and I don't recognize the man lying next to me anymore. This is my story, and I'm still searching for the ending.